Hi, it's John Flynn from Copley Advertising. Today we're going to talk about the difference between geofencing and demo targeting. Geofencing and demo targeting. Well, yes. Well, years ago, it's probably like two, we had a lot of third-party data people. And what they did is that they sold us data based on certain demo or behavior characteristics. Could be anything from mail, dog walkers, people who are going to buy a car in 6 months. They had a wide variety. It was very attractive. And we all bought the data and thought it was great. And then we realized that the data may have not been as clean as hoped. Did some testing and the data was, a little muddy. So we all kind of withdrew from the data thing and went right back to our geo-targeting and targeting by location, which is great. If you set up a location, either a retail store or 5 miles from a restaurant or a DMA or things like that, that works out great. But then, some companies started to get back in the picture, and we work with a company called Neustar, and Neustar has done some really nice work and really cleaned up the ID and the way the IDs are put together. So when we use a program, actually, it comes out really nice because we could tell that the flow is a lot slower than it used to be because there's less of IDs that don't matter, and then we have a high quality click-through rate. So that's pretty cool. So, if we're looking for, I do a lot of recruitment work in retail. So obviously the average age, or not obviously, but the average age of a retail hire is around 19 to 24. So we could, DMA an area like Dallas and do 19 to 24 in that DMA. Plus we could add low income on top of it, and household worth and income and how much your home's worth, or your renter or your owner and all that stuff. So that's really cool. I mean, obviously, it's the thing is, even if you take a Dallas DMA, you really can't go too far deep. I mean, you go by age, and then after that, you're kind of hitting it. But we find that if we do a broad age spectrum, it's a 4-year gap between the ages. It's 18, 19, and then it's 20, 24, and then 25, 29. We throw all those up to 40, and then we can kind of figure out, the click-through rate and see what's happening, and then shut the others off, and then turn that back on, and then maybe find another one demographic like low income or something. So, we could run 10 ad sets, 15 ad sets per campaign and not be a problem. I mean, that's the great thing about mobile. It's cheap. So, and then, if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, a lot of people don't. But if you hire somebody who knows what they're doing, like me, then you have the ability to have those ad sets tested really quick. And then, in a few days, I'll know, if we got any kind of winner or loser, So, I'll just turn it off if it's something that is not working, and then try some more stuff. So, as usual, by the end of the first week, midway through the second week, I try to get down to is maybe 8 ad sets and heading down further, and then get the retargeting campaign ramped up, and then once we get a core stuff together that addresses everybody's needs, because you could be running different cities and you need at least 1 ad set per city. So I might have an ad set Washington DC that's underperforming all my other ad sets, let's say the top 3 ad sets in New York City, but I still have to include it because that's what the client wants. I can't optimize that out. And then the 3rd or 4th week we start optimizing in the sense of app placement and things like that. So as opposed to just geofencing, which is great, and then we could run some geofencing campaigns. We could geofence all the other competition. We could geofence arenas. We could geofence other stuff. But in certain regards, one thing with geofencing is kind of stuck. It's like and then everybody in there. If I do a trade show, it's great because then it's all the same demographic, and I can manipulate the data to use it even for a year afterwards by breaking out the IDs and running them through a lookalike model, something like that, and catching to see where we get, and blowing it up to 2 million on Facebook, or put it on my platform. Different ways to do it. So, but in a sense, if you just geofencing retail stores, it gets harder to identify besides just the fact of place. What other behaviors are going there. So if you bring the behavior aspect into it, you can kind of integrate those better. So I think it's a good tool. I wouldn't do one without the other. You know, I wouldn't do behavior without geofencing. I wouldn't want to do geofencing without behavior. So I just think we're at a good place right now. Is that it's just another tool we have to, you know, drill down, optimize, and do really cool stuff like that. So keep them both in mind: geofencing and third-party IDs. And for God's sakes, just, you know, email me, jflynn@copleyadvertising.com if there's any questions. I won't bother you again. And that just, please don't, if somebody tells you something weird, just email me. I'll tell you if it's weird or not. John Flynn, Copley Advertising, give me 1 month. 1 month of my mobile marketing and I'll fix it.